Hey man, Shane here. Reverse pyramid training has been embroiled in some drama, but that has nothing to do with the training and almost everything to do with the two guys who popularized it. More on that in a moment. The idea of reverse pyramid training is that you do a heavy low rep set first while you're fresh, and then you burn your muscles out with gradually lighter, higher rep sets. For example, you could start with a heavy set of 6 repetitions, and then take 10 to 15% of the weight off the bar, rest for a couple minutes, and then do as many reps as you can, maybe getting 9 repetitions. Take another 10 to 15% of the weight off the bar, rest for another couple minutes, and then do it again, maybe getting 12 repetitions. That gives you 6, 9, and 12 repetitions, forming the coveted shape of an inverted pyramid. The idea is similar to drop sets, except that you rest for a couple minutes between sets to regain some strength. The other difference is that people usually use drop sets on their smallest exercises, whereas reverse pyramid training is usually reserved for the biggest ones, like squats, bench presses, deadlifts, overhead presses, chin-ups, and rows. It's used to build the foundation of your workout program. And it makes for a good foundation. It stimulates the same amount of muscle growth as straight sets, meaning it's tied for first place. It's an S-tier way of training, and there's virtually no disagreement about that. It has a long history of working well, all the research looks good, all the experts approve of it, and most people really like it.
Well, the advantage of reverse pyramid sets is that you'll probably move more total weight. That's because you'll be doing your heaviest set first when you're the freshest. I find this approach is best for people who have both strength and size goals.
And I do reverse pyramid training. So after you warm up, you do that first set with a heavier weight for about 4 to 6 reps. That's your personal record set. Every workout, we either want to add a couple reps and then the next workout will add a bit of weight. That's what is going to allow your body to change. And training in this style, it just makes the most sense because when you are doing that really challenging weight, you want to go into it when you're relatively fresh.
It's especially popular in minimalist workout programs because it makes it easier to push yourself harder, allowing you to get more muscle growth out of fewer sets. And it gives you the benefit of training in a variety of rep ranges, all packaged neatly into the same exercise. It's also really popular in aesthetics programs. I think that's because of Martin Berkhan popularizing it on his Lean Gains blog in 2008, and then one of his clients, Gregory O'Gallagher, also known as Kinobody, allegedly copying those methods and giving them a new wave of popularity on Instagram and YouTube. Reverse pyramid training goes back way further than that. Back in the 1940s and 50s, the natural bodybuilder Steve Reeves was doing classic pyramid training, and he was also doing his down the rack system, which is almost the same thing as reverse pyramid training, just with shorter rest periods. So the issue wasn't that Kinobody copied reverse pyramid training, but that he copied the whole system, including the minimalist workout structure and the Lean Gains intermittent fasting protocol, where you skip breakfast. He marketed himself in a similar way too, showing off how strong and chiseled he was while eating an indulgent diet and training 3 times per week. Martin Berkhan got frustrated and called Kinobody a thieving trust fund playboy who skips leg day, and it was a big drama for a little while. In the end, Berkhan had a bigger impact on the fitness industry, especially with his Lean Gains intermittent fasting protocol, whereas Kinobody wound up gaining more fame with the general public. Anyway, both of these guys were famous for their aesthetics, and Steve Reeves was even more famous for his aesthetics, so that's what reverse pyramid training became known for. It's also surprisingly good for gaining strength, which is a huge part of why I find it so fun. The heavy sets help me finally bench 315 pounds, and the lighter sets help me get 15 reps with 225 pounds. Both of those were milestones that I hadn't thought were even possible as a naturally skinny guy. And of course, as your strength goes up, your muscles grow proportionally bigger, especially when you're making progress across different rep ranges. Here's how it works. To gain maximal strength, you want to show up fresh, lift heavy weights, and give every rep your full effort. But there isn't much benefit to bringing your sets to failure. Leaving 1, 2, or even 3 reps in reserve is fine. That's what the first set is for. Then, to gain muscle size and improve your work capacity, it's okay if your muscles are tired and you don't need to lift as heavy, but it does help to push closer to failure, and it also helps to do more volume. That's what the lighter sets bring. Martin Berkhan recommended doing it the other way around, going all out on the first set and then easing off on the lighter sets. But if we compare how powerlifters and bodybuilders train, with the powerlifters lifting heavier and stopping further from failure, and the bodybuilders lifting lighter and pushing closer to failure. And if we look at the latest strength and hypertrophy research, and if we consider what's safer, then all of it points to stopping further from failure on the earlier, heavier sets and pushing closer to failure on the later, lighter sets. When you mix those two styles of training together, you get pretty good strength gains from the first set, and you get great muscle growth on all of the sets, including that first set. Doing one heavy set won't transform you into a professional powerlifter, but you'll get pretty good strength gains along with maximal muscle growth. Another advantage to reverse pyramid training is that you only have one heavy set, making it easy to psych yourself up and push yourself hard. And then after that heavy set, the weight gets lighter. And I know this might sound weird, but when the weight gets lighter, it feels lighter. And for some reason, that makes it easier to push yourself harder. That means the lighter sets don't hurt as much as they usually do, making it a very enjoyable way to train. However, there are two potential downsides. The first is that you might need to do an extra warm-up set to prepare for that first heavy set. But I don't consider that much of a problem. It gives you more practice on your main exercises, it gives you a bit more physical activity, it doesn't take very long, and it isn't very fatiguing. The second potential downside is that you need to adjust the weight between sets. This sounds like a hassle, and it is, but I think it might even be a good thing. It gives you something to do while resting between sets, preventing you from getting distracted. And again, it gives a bit of extra physical activity while working out, which is almost always a good thing. Reverse pyramid training is pretty simple to do. Let's say you're aiming for 6, 9, and 12 reps. Start by doing 3 warm-up sets, working up to 2 to 3 reps with around 80% of the weight you'll be using in your first heavy set. In that first heavy set, use a weight you think you can lift for 7 to 8 repetitions and push yourself hard on every single repetition, trying to accelerate the weight through the range of motion, and stop about 2 repetitions shy of failure. That means you should be able to get about 5 to 6 repetitions. Take about 10 to 15% of the weight off the bar, you don't need to be exact, and make sure you get 2 to 3 minutes of rest. Then do as many reps as you can, stopping just shy of failure. Take another 10 to 15% of the weight off the bar, take another couple minutes of rest, and then push yourself even harder, stopping right on the cusp of failure, or maybe even hitting failure if you're confident you can do it safely. You don't need to get the reps exactly right, you just need to make sure you're pushing yourself hard on every set. If you're aiming for 6 reps, it's okay if you get 4, 5, 6, or even 8 repetitions. If you're on the low side, then stick with the weight until you get at least 6. If you're on the high side, then add some weight next week. You can progressively overload each set independently, almost as if they're different exercises. That's one of the things I like about reverse pyramid training. It can feel like there are more opportunities to make progressive overload. If your first set gets stuck, you might still gain a couple of repetitions on your later sets, or vice versa. 3 sets is usually a good place to start, especially if you're a novice, if you're maintaining, or if you're cutting. But you could add a 4th set or even a 5th set, especially if you're an intermediate lifter and especially if you're recomping or bulking. I usually do 3 to 4 sets for my lower body exercises and 4 to 5 for my upper body exercises. When you put reverse pyramid training into your workout program, you're usually doing it for the first 2 big exercises of the workout, and then you switch over to easier, lighter accessory exercises. For example, you could use reverse pyramid training for your bench presses and rows, and then you could blast through some bicep curls, tricep extensions, and lateral raises. That will give you a really simple, easy workout that's perfect for building muscle. All right, that's it for now. I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.